Berkeley's face.
Oh, that's gonna be
Well,
going
we're
away in
talk-
about 2 minutes, so.
When we were talking about, I mean, I'm just saying, because you have to realize that there are certain conditions that people have that they would rather not have,
Yeah,
and they can't do anything about it because that's the way that they are built.
it's.
They've
and
been
I-
built.
Yes, and I've seen some situations where, there's a term in medicine called someone has quote, bad protoplasm, where they just have.
That's it.
You know, bad things happen to them and it's on a regular basis, you can't control it, and there's nothing that they did, no fault of their own.
We call it PPP in surgery,
Yeah,
piss poor
yeah,
protoplasm.
well, it's the same type of thing, but yeah.
Oh, when you say, and then we had another one also called 10-foot pole sign. Like I remember that there was a woman in the ICU, and I went, I had to do an examination on her or something, she was sick as all get out. And I think I like touched her forehead for something to, you know, I had to like move her head to look behind, had a wound on her head. And the next day she had a wound where I had like literally manipulated her head.
She might have had, Steven Johnson syndrome.
We call that 10-foot pole sign, which means literally don't touch her with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, but that might have been what it was.
But they were asking us to operate on her. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I touched her forehead and she's got a wound.
Yeah, it
No.
was Steven Johnson syndrome, it had to be.
Something awful.
Yeah, that's what it does.
I can't remember exactly, but I
Very-
remember it was really bad. When
Toxic
when
epidermal
actually,
necrolysis, it's
yeah,
terrible.
if you touch somebody's skin and it falls apart, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to hockey.
Yeah, I have
This is a
three.
big week.
I have 3 words for you. 3 words. Ready?
I'm ready.
St. Louis Blues.
I think that's 2 words, but
No.
I'm gonna, cause I don't know, is it a place or is it, all right, but I am with you.
Yeah.
Those are some important words in the National Hockey League.
17-4-1.
What happened?
11 games in a row. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened. This kinda goes to my, our discussion we had last year about Vegas.
By the way, is this because my brother called you and said you need to talk about other teams?
No, because
Okay,
he was
just
yelling at me about Calgary and Dallas and whatever else, but,
Just wanna make sure.
no, it's one of those things, okay, so we heard, I was listening to some interviews, Ryan O'Reilly and Petrangelo were talking after they won their 11th game in a row last night, when they beat Toronto in overtime.
Which was awesome.
Awesome game.
Great game. They played very well.
And they were saying basically that we are all looking out for each other, we're in this together, and it was the type of thing, when you hear a team talking like that, there's something special going on. There's just something intangible. You can't draft it, you can't scout it, it's just something that happens. And they were actually talking, I don't think in the interview, but they had mentioned at some other point about possibly a trade acquisition. You know, they've gone from potential sellers at the trade deadline, which is the 25th, so it's coming up in a few days, to buyers. And they were saying, no, we don't want anybody else on this team. We
Right.
are a team. And that says volumes. And listen, it's just, this is what makes sports so special, and hockey especially, when you see a team like this that bonds for something, who knows what it is. I mean, you know, remember the movie Major League when they were bonding over the owners, you know, getting your, the pieces coming off her
Yeah.
cardboard.
Perfect.
Whatever it takes that these teams can bond over, it's making a difference. You know, Nashville, they all agreed to take less money so they could stay together as a unit. That's something that no outsider can come in and just step in and start playing with that team. It can ruin that bond.
The
So,
chemistry.
the chemistry.
Yeah, that's key.
But they are now in 3rd place in the Central.
Yeah, Tarasenko is playing some
And
inspired
he's a
hockey.
Big reason why that's happening. I mean, you got that top line of Ryan O'Reilly, Braden Shen, and Tarasenko. I mean,
Jeez.
they're pretty much playing lights out the last 25 games.
Tarasenko looks like he, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know what he did. You know,
Yeah.
he went to see the Dalai Lama or something. I mean, he's
whatever it takes.
12th son of the Lama with the flowing robes.
Got that going
the
for you.
grace.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, seriously, he's on fire.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
guy is killing it.
Yeah, I mean, he has 26 goals and 25 assists right now in this season, so we're, you know, over 50 points. And, you know, when one of your top guys is playing like a top guy, it makes a difference.
And he hadn't been playing like a top
No,
guy. In
not
fact,
even
at
the last couple
beginning-
seasons.
For
I'd
sure,
argue.
but at the beginning of the season, I was just like, what is up with this guy? He's doing nothing, and
Yeah.
he was so promising.
But they didn't even talk about trading.
Yeah,
You know, he was one of those names that was out there, and then boom, you know, since January, these guys have, just turned it on, and kinda like what Columbus did, what was it, 3 years ago, when Columbus kinda went 18-4 or whatever it was, and, you know, vaulted themselves up into a playoff spot.
they were amazing.
Yeah, so, you know, it's just, this is the thing that sets a special team, and whether they, you know, go far in the playoffs or not, but like the Islanders, they're gonna be a tough team that have to play. If-
Not right now, I
You know,
mean,
not right now, right.
they've got game.
Yeah.
They're making it happen, and it is very impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, you know, and that's the other thing, look at Nashville, they're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
They're just on a slide.
yeah, but again, if you're a Nashville fan, don't despair, you have the team, you have the talent, and what you have to say to yourself is, okay, I'm glad this is happening February 20th, February 21st, 22nd, rather than April or May 21st or 22nd, because.
No, that's right.
There's no going back at that point.
That's right. No, it's good news. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they have a team that could go somewhere in the playoffs, but I have to say, I'm still betting Winnipeg, and I really like what the Sharks are up to. Shahab, sorry, I mean, I do. I think the Sharks are, the Sharks.
The Shahabs?
The Shahabs. The San Jose Shahabs. That's really what they should have named it.
They should have.
It would have been way better.
Yeah.
But, you know, so the Shahabs have, they have basically everything that they need. But we were just talking about it, that there was a rumor about Ryan Miller going possibly from the Ducks to the Sharks.
He just became the winningest US goalie.
He did, he just passed John Van Beesbrook.
And it had to have been, after we met him, that did something special.
Oh, I'm sure it was your coaching, basically, that put him over the top to win that win.
I put him at ease talking about East Lansing and Michigan State. That's what did it.
I am, we just were sitting there hanging out with him.
Yeah.
We've got photos of that, actually.
Yeah.
Of your conversation with
Yeah.
Ryan Miller.
Good.
Cam Fowler also playing better after you know, threatened to put a wing wheel on him. I think doesn't want that to
It
happen.
wasn't a threat, it was more of like a desire that I have to see him in that uniform.
I understand, but I think, and by the way, you were, when you were talking to him, you said, who's the phone call go to? The phone call goes to Pat Brisson,
Which
a
we
guest of the Dr. Hockey podcast.
know very well. And then and by the way, Pat, if you're listening, I cannot wait to see your office because I'm dying to see the memorabilia.
And start striking the deal for Cam Fowler to go to the Red Wings.
And that too.
That's
too.
totally on.
I'll be negotiating on behalf of the Red Wings without their knowledge.
I can do that podcast from Pat's office for you all right now, so you don't even have to download it. It's gonna go like this. Pat, what's it gonna take to get Cam Fowler back to Detroit? How much do I have to pay? Because I
Right.
wanna see that.
I will not take no for an answer.
I don't think that's happening. Cam is playing well. The Ducks had a decisive win last night. They looked very good. They beat up on the Wild, and you know, I think those guys are. It's interesting that coaching shakeup for the Ducks is probably making a difference.
Speaking of coaching changes, which very well may happen in Minnesota. Minnesota's a disaster. They're holding on by the skin of their teeth.
A disaster.
And Carlisle has already gone on record as saying that they're guaranteeing that they're gonna make the playoffs.
You mean Bruce?
Well,
Boudreau.
Bruce Boudreau, I get the two mixed up.
They're like the same person.
Yeah, they are basically the same person. Boudreau has gone on record as saying that they're absolutely, I guarantee they're gonna make the playoffs. Koivu's on the IR. They've lost, Coyle went to Boston.
Charlie Coyle is
Charlie
one
Coyle
of my favorite players.
Went to
on the team,
Boston
too.
just on a
He's
trade, right? Okay, he's in a trade.
He's a sick player.
The average age of the Minnesota team is like 32 or 33, whatever it is,
Not good.
32. And they've spent so much money on Parisi and Suter.
And Zucker.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens. So I don't see it happening for them. I think there's too many other teams that may be coming up right behind them. And if I had to pick one right now, that is going to be taking Minnesota's place, I would say it's probably going to be either Colorado or Chicago.
Chicago looks like they mean business.
Well, I mean, we thought they were dead in the water, but
Well, Patrick Kane looks
Edmonton's
like
gotten worse, actually, if that was possible.
I don't even know how that could happen.
I don't know either.
What is up in Edmonton?
You have the best player in hockey on your team. You have one
He
of
is the best player.
You have one of the top 5 players in hockey in your team as well. I mean, you know, it's
It doesn't make sense.
there's something wrong there.
it doesn't make sense with Draisaitl and McDavid that they
Yeah.
are not winning like every single game
I
on the
don't
side.
get it, I don't get it.
I think I know what the problem is in Edmonton. You may disagree with me, but if I had to guess what the main problem is there, is that there really isn't a team leader.
Well, that's why they brought Lucic in there that one time, to try to see if they could get some kind of veteran presence and someone they can look up to. At least that's what I thought, but,
And Lucic is a good choice for that, quite honestly.
Yeah.
He's a very
He's been
strong
around.
personality, he's been around, he's been on cup teams. You know, he's a strong player. I think, you know, Milan Lucic is a top line of, top line of a NHL player, but I think
you think
right
he's a
now-
top line?
No, he's.
He's a third line, fourth line
know.
guy,
Well,
but I
of
mean,
course
as far as a
not.
leader.
In terms of being a,
Yes.
a locker room presence and
Yeah.
a leader, I would have expected that, but I just don't think he's doing it right now, and I don't know, it just seems like a lack of leadership. It has to be, because McDavid may be too young, Draisaitl's young also, and, you know, I don't know, they must not have somebody to really drive home that they need to win some games. You know, it's like when we talked to Derek Grant about being on Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And he just said, like, when you walk into the room, you know, it starts with Mario, it flows through Crosby, and it hits to everybody else from
You
Kessler
expect
to
them to
Malkin.
win.
The expectation is that we're not going out there to play a good game, we're going out there to win. We need to get to
Right.
the, you know, the playoffs, and we need to get the Stanley Cup, that's why we're here. And I mean, it seems like the other teams should all have that same ethic, but he said it was very clearly different in Pittsburgh.
I think that the Oilers need one person to come in and save them.
Wayne Gretzky.
No.
I know, I got it.
No.
You can call him up, see if he'll suit up. I mean,
No,
why
no, no,
not?
no,
He could
no.
do it.
Gunny Sergeant Highway, okay? He needs to come in, like he did with his platoon,
All right.
and get those guys into shape.
I'm not sure that's gonna help.
Swede, you know, okay, Swede was their all-star, you know, weightlifting guy on the team, you know, on their
Shut up right
platoon.
now, look at his face, he's like, what is Jason talking about?
I kind of zoned
You
out.
know?
Was what were we talking about?
That's He's looking at you just like.
Go rent a movie called Heartbreak Ridge, and we'll talk after.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If you watch the Mighty Ducks, I will.
Yeah.
You haven't watched the Mighty Ducks?
He said he hasn't.
Jason has not watched
I
the Mighty
was
Ducks.
never interested in
Shahab?
watching it, I never had interest in watching the movie.
Well, you know, I guess, yeah, it's not the best, I will say that, but it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Lauren, what's the problem?
Adam Banks was like my third grade crush, I think.
Adam Banks was your third grade crush, he was just at the Honda Center for this,
The real life Adam Banks?
the real guy,
I posted
he was
this.
there. So, yeah, anyway, that movie.
Speaking of movie, by the way, I cannot tell you how excited I am to see the Russian 5 movie. There are 5 guys,
Is
as
this
you know.
happening?
It's happened, no, it's being released in theaters, I think, next month. There were 5 guys, you might have heard of them, I don't know, Sergei Fedorov, Igor Larionov, Vladimir Konstantinov.
Those names are familiar.
Slava Fetisov, Slava Kozlov, I don't know, just some guys, Sergei Fedorov, you know. Anyway,
You're sure they're Russian?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, their names all ended in V. Okay, so I think that's one thing. But this movie is something that I've been excited about, much like the Bob Probert movie that was, you know, available. That I cannot wait to see this movie about the Russian 5. I mean, that was such a phenomenon that we will never see again in the NHL. And
That is true, that was by the way, Lou Lamoriello.
yeah, he started it when he
I know,
right.
he's the guy.
in New Jersey, but then Scotty Bowman found the winning combination and said, let them play as a unit. And I called, and obviously, it was, I didn't coin this term at all, but if you're a Star Trek fan from Next Generation, they were like the Borg on ice. Okay, that's my inner geek coming out.
That is.
They were a collective.
That's beyond geeky.
They were the Russian collective.
You have gone to a new level. that
Yeah, I
didn't
know.
you had
Oh,
in
it
you.
goes way
Really?
beyond that, yes.
This is awesome.
They were, yeah, and matter of fact, I think
Hashtag the board.
I actually think-
I want that on there.
I
That's
think,
geek.
I could have sworn one game when I was listening to the broadcast, I heard Fedorov say to one of the players in the Blackhawks, resistance is futile. But I don't know, maybe it was, you know,
I think he probably did say that.
he might have.
So Fedorov, though, his records were just broken, right? By
The high scoring Russian, but he was also one of those types of players, I mean, a generational player that could score.
He was awesome.
I mean, just, yeah, just a
So awesome.
yeah, beyond. But anyway, so when this movie is available, I am gonna be one of the first ones to see it because I just cannot wait to see this movie. And
It's gonna be awesome.
that picture of me holding the cup over my head was taken at Vladimir Konstantinov's house after he'd been injured when there was a party at there with the cup.
So if you're listening, the guys who guard the cup, Jason Berkeley has a photo of himself with the cup over his head while wearing a beeper, as a matter of fact. 'Cause
Well, it was
from-
1998.
So I don't know
It's-
what the statute of limitations on cup violations are, but he definitely
You
violated.
really would
the
turn me
rule.
in like that.
I'm turning you in right now.
Wow.
Because this is going like everywhere, and I hope the cup guys come in here right now and arrest you and take you and make you spend.
I'm like
25
I'm like
days
the
in
Whitey Bulger of the NHL.
You are, you're on the run in Santa Monica. He's hidden away.
Jeez.
He got away with it for 20 years, but now it's over. I've just outed you.
Wow.
Not to mention the photos on our Instagram, which probably outed you long before this conversation, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
We can bring it back up again.
We can we can put it up. Everybody should see that. It's a
Right.
great photo.
Right.
I don't know anybody else who has the cup over their head in a photo like that.
Well,
Quick hashtag search, I bet we can find it.
I was much bigger also in that
You were.
movie.
You were.
Or in that picture.
Yeah, you've shrunk by like at least a quarter inch.
Well,
So you're like
my biggest,
6'9".
well, like, no, my biggest was 2005, I was about almost 240, 245.
Really?
Yeah. That picture of me and Springsteen that I showed
How
you?
could you not play like defense for the Detroit Red Wings? What's up with that?
I told you,
Skating ability?
listen, as I told you and Ryan Miller, I basically skate like Happy Gilmore. And that's what he asked me, he says, do you shoot like him? And I said, well, yeah, I suppose. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been like a no-brainer.
Yeah, well,
All right, well, let's get on. There's some other things going on right now in the NHL that I think that are worthy of our discussing.
yes,
The trade deadline's coming up.
25th.
We have.
February 25th.
I am banking on a Zuccarello move, Artemi Panarin, and
well,
a
Panarin's kind of a
Duchesne.
given. I mean, his name's been thrown on so much that I think it's gonna be kind of hard for them not to trade him at this point. And I know he's not happy where he is.
He's not.
So, you know, okay, clearly he gets a first round pick. I don't think they take anything less than a first
No,
round pick.
definitely. So who
But
can
maybe
take-
even a first pick and a prospect possibly.
Who needs Artemi Panarin right now?
Okay, who needs scoring? Probably Boston.
Boston.
I'll tell you why. As you know, was it Pasternak? Who injured his thumb?
Patrice Bergeron.
No, it was Pasternak, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fell at a charity event and injured his thumb.
Brutal. But
What was that?
Fell at a charity event.
Well,
Likely story.
Was it Pasternak? Am I, yeah.
Not
saying.
what
Just
it
saying.
sure
Can we
is.
Likely
double check
story.
that? I'm
We
almost
can double
positive.
check, but I think it is. But the,
Yeah.
you know, I talked to Fluto Shinzawa of the Athletics about an Artemi Panarin acquisition, and he was not optimistic for that.
Why is that?
He thought it was, it would be a rented player for a few months, and he's gonna be gone because of cap issues, and he doesn't think that that's gonna be the move that Panarin makes. He thinks he wants it more permanent.
I guess I'm gonna look at it
Tortorella's-
myself.
Oh, yeah, and by the way,
It's
Tortorella.
Pasternak, yeah, I was right.
Tortorella was going crazy last night about.
Why do I always doubt
Yeah.
myself? Why do I always doubt myself with this?
I don't know.
I know what I'm talking about, I think.
Well, then you should just, suck it up and say it.
Okay.
So,
it's
did you see
Pasternak.
Tortorella screaming about Artemi Panarin last night?
No.
Because they were like, all right, should we just get it out of the way? He's not moving, he's not playing tonight because he's sick. And he said something like, he's like.
He's sick.
Well, he said he was
Close.
sick, he's throwing up, he's.
Oh, yeah, he's
sitting on the toilet.
right, I
Yeah,
saw
he said
that,
something,
right,
he's like-
right.
He's like beeping in his pants.
Right,
It was like-
right, I saw that,
So,
yes.
yeah, I mean, it was pretty clear that he's frustrated by all the talk about a Panarin trade.
But he didn't say he was doing it actually in Boston. So, maybe that was an important piece
True.
of.
That could have been some important information. What about Zuccarello? Where does Mats Zuccarello wind up?
I don't know. I mean, the problem
He's
with
playing very well right
He's
now.
playing well, but the trade deadline is one of those things where you always expect certain teams that wanna make acquisitions and they don't, and it drives the fan base crazy. Because sometimes some of these teams want so much for some of these players, even some midline players. They're talking about even possibly, Jimmy Howard going somewhere for a team that needs a bat, get that thing away from me. Jay's putting Gritty.
Where does
close to
Gritty
me.
wind up is what I wanna know, cause
Gritty
he should be traded.
He should have been the dumpster.
He's gonna be traded to the Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you look, okay, so look at base, I don't know where Zuccarello's gonna go, but you look at someone like a Jimmy Howard, they're saying could bring a price, but the teams that are really in contention have a number one goalie. So they have that magical goalie that's there, but do they then go for insurance policy for a playoff, seasoned veteran who's been through ups and downs beyond belief? And say what you want about Jimmy Howard on the ice at times, the guy is a very, very even keel guy. He doesn't get emotional, he doesn't let himself get, you know, into his own head. And so he could be something that could be very valuable, but they're saying maybe a second round pick for him, max. And so, you know, and so also then Gustav Nyquist from the Wings.
Yep.
Is someone who can potentially add some real scoring punch. He's doing very well this year. I think he has like around 40 points, I think, or something like
Wow,
that.
really?
Yeah, he's got like 28 assists, and so.
That's a big improvement.
Yeah, and so he's having a really good year, and again, he's another unrestricted free agent. You know, Ken Holland has made it his mission in life to give every player on the Wings a no trade clause, which
Oh,
is,
are you kidding?
it's one of the biggest things, if you ask anyone who's in the know of the Red Wings, nation.
Hashtag not cool.
No.
That makes it very hard to do anything.
It's so hard to get rid of some of these guys because they all have no trade clauses.
Hashtag handcuffed.
But there's, listen, they have 21 games left in the season, and then this season's gonna come to a merciful end for us, Wings fans.
It's not gonna be merciful.
But the rebuild's on the way, but to do that, you gotta get rid of some of your players. And I'll speak just for the Wings, they gotta get rid of Nyquist, Jimmy Howard, and, if they can, either Abdelkader or Luke Lendening.
I mean, those are.
So, those
Yeah,
are
but
four guys.
I bet you, and I will sit here and tell you, I bet those moves aren't happening.
No, cause I think that either
They're
the
not.
teams are gonna want two less and Holland's gonna want too much. And then, listen, it's, bottom line is, with the trade deadline, it's so unpredictable. And, I don't even know if Panarin's gonna go anywhere.
I don't either.
If Tortorella's that adamant about it,
He may keep them.
he may keep him just to spite everybody.
That, he is the guy to do that.
He would be the guy to do that, I agree.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Zook moves. I think Duchesne's moving. Stone,
Stone from Ottawa?
yep.
Well, listen, he's like the only bright spot on that team. I mean, you know, they gotta get something for him.
Not happy.
He's on it all. Would you be?
No.
Would you be on a team if you were literally in, the only team ahead of them?
I might be in an Uber, like, pissing him
They're
off
in,
about
debt.
it.
Well, they're, well, imagine,
wait,
imagine if
that
that happened,
actually happened.
exactly. Listen, they're in dead last in the Eastern Conference. The only team above them is my Red Wings, so there's not much left to go on there.
You should
Why
claim
stay?
the Red Wings this year. You should just say the Red Wings, not your Red Wings.
No, listen, I'm with them up or down, doesn't make
I
a
know.
difference. But listen, you got teams like, you know, Montreal, teams like, you know, Columbus, they're on a wild card in the East that could potentially benefit from a little more scoring punch than a guy like a Nyquist
Yeah,
or a guy like, you
you're
know,
right.
Zuccarello.
Montreal definitely could be looking for
Yeah.
that, and, you know, St. Louis could also use some third line action.
But
as
again,
well.
I don't think St. Louis makes a move. If they do, they're done. That's my thinking.
Wow.
I think they don't make, they
You think they're happy with
stand
what they
back.
got, and they're gonna just go the distance?
Listen, they may not go far, but I think they would rather have a first round exit if they have the team that they have. That's my guess on it, and then
Alright.
build on it for next year.
Speaking of which, did you see the Devils game last night where Putty came out?
Yes.
In the face paint?
But he fell.
Yeah, he
Now-
totally wiped out.
Now, that wasn't planned?
No, that wasn't. He forgot that you have to step up off the ice to get it.
Or
into
that
the-
he forgot maybe that
into the
ice
box.
was slippery?
That may have been it too, but I was loving that.
Devils!
Gotta support the team.
Yeah, I got to support the team.
I just remember, you know, Julia Louise-Dreyfus, you know, as a lady
Yeah.
going, but Putty, you're a face painter.
Yes, exactly.
And he's just like, gotta support the team.
Yeah,
It was a classic.
but a very elaborate face painting too.
Oh my God, it was amazing. He really revived the whole face painter. They had a Putty face painter bobblehead that they gave the first 9,000 attendees of the.
Patrick Warburton, he's a funny guy.
He very funny.
Yeah.
He's been funny in many things. I thought it was great, and he got everybody fired up. It didn't stop the Devils from losing, but,
Well, what could?
I don't know, we gotta,
I think even skating in stilettos would agree that that wasn't enough.
I'll tell you, she's gotta be bumming.
I'm playing her this week in fantasy. By the way, real quick, rundown of our fantasy hockey league. And get off with the gritty.
Gritty 2-0 against Detroit this week? That's
That-
right.
you know
That's
what?
right. That is so true.
Shut the
This
hell
may
up.
be your trilogy of terror. But right now, it's like the duo of terror.
It is.
Because the two.
What am I looking for? You're always throwing me off here.
Why? Is Gritty throwing you off? Is that a
Oh,
problem? What's
okay.
in Gritty's head, by the way?
Chattering teeth.
That's
Okay.
not good. That's scary.
So in the Dr. Hockey podcast, fantasy hockey, we have top three teams. Arash Markazi and his LA Express is number one.
What?
He's 17-1.
He's good, that guy.
I think he's just mailing it in at this point. You know,
No.
Come on.
He's making moves.
I haven't seen him make moves. I tried trading with him 10 times. He won't take any. We got Sean Gosser, Highway to Hellebuck, in second place,
Not bad.
16-3. Excuse me, 15-3. Me,
Are you really in fourth?
Bag of Oranges in third place.
Nice. That's
14-4, and right behind me, out of my high heels, is skating in stilettos at 13-5, and I'm playing her this week, so we'll see what happens.
All right.
After that, everyone else sucks. So.
I haven't been too active in the trade.
No, I have noticed because you have like 4 players on the IR and like 2 spots open.
That's not good.
No, come on.
Maybe somebody could give me some help on the fantasy football. That'd be very helpful.
Steele's still in 12th place at 2-16.
Steele's not very good. He's not a good fantasy
He
player.
gave up.
I think he was trying to do it for a while.
Actually, for somebody who hasn't paid attention to your team, you're in 6th place. That's not too bad
It's not bad.
for doing absolutely nothing
And
since
having all those
October.
guys on the IR.
Yeah, and then who's Ov Showerwater? It's a Shab. Yeah, he's in 5th
Your OB
place.
shower water?
But here's the thing: the
Is
reality.
Everson on our fantasy? Did
No,
Everson
it's
name?
Sean Pronger.
Sean Pronger's on it?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, but the good thing, listen, the thing is, after skating in stilettos, it drops off rapidly to Shahab, so, there's just no one else that's gonna compete, so basically, the playoffs are set of the top 5 teams.
I'm gonna
Sounds
start
like
trying
Markazi's
out.
got us.
Listen, anything happens in the playoffs,
That's true.
he is the Tampa Bay of our league right now, but you don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, and, you know, speaking of Tampa Bay, I did get to speak with Jeremy Roenick on Monday, President's Day, and it went up on our episode on Tuesday.
He still won't speak to me.
Who, Roenick?
I'm just kidding.
He did say something about that.
Yeah.
What's the problem there? What did you do?
It's a long story.
Oh, really? Were you screaming at him at a game and he remembers this? I mean, that's
No,
another Ryan gets
that was Getzlaff, no, that was okay, and I already apologized, we buried the hatchet, he forgave me.
All right, well, you know, Roenick was talking about Tampa Bay, and he was saying, you know, what do you do when you're that far out in front? You know, do you, and he made some great points, do you start slowing the guys down? Do you risk getting off your tempo? What if you start getting tired and getting injuries? So I think his points were very well taken, that actually being in Tampa Bay's position right now is actually risky and difficult. It's not, you know, a shoo-in for the Stanley Cup.
Of course not, that's why you play the games.
That's right, so the President's Trophy curse definitely could be real for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, well,
Are they, I mean, you know, they're great for a game, but how are they in a 7-game series? And that's where the depth of the team, I think, is gonna make the difference. They didn't have that last year. They had it, just wasn't clicking as well as it is this year, and this year they look ridiculous.
well, we've seen it before. Man, teams have done really well. Look at Washington.
Absolutely.
Washington was far in heads and shoulders above everybody else with points. Thought they were unstoppable. Came to the playoffs like a brick wall. Just, you know.
Year after year.
Yeah.
I
So
know. It was very
it
hard.
means nothing. So we'll, you know, if I was a Tampa Bay fan and you know, looking at the team, I'd say, okay, this is great. We're gonna get home ice, but let's see how things go in April and May and June.
Larry Timko he like skipped all the entire playoffs. He said when we get to the Stanley Cup. So
Well, that's a
how they're
little
thinking.
extreme. I
But that's how the
understand
fans are
that. We still
thinking.
gotta watch the games.
His comments really demonstrate how the Tampa Bay Lightning fan base is.
But the fan base but here's the thing, if the team thinks that way, they're done.
Oh, they're done. No,
So,
they can't
and,
think that way.
but they might,
If they do, they're toast.
Well, I
You know,
agree.
That'd be an issue, because they really have to recognize that there's a lot of teams that are gonna be very interested.
better recognize,
Yeah, they're gonna, I mean,
I agree,
and there are teams that can take them out in the playoffs.
for sure.
I think the Islanders
Listen,
can take them out in the playoffs.
injuries happen, teams don't play well, they go through a slump, look at Nashville, it just happens, it's part of sports.
Let's look at the Eastern Conference. Who's the most likely to defeat Tampa Bay?
New York, Islanders,
I think it's the Islanders.
100%.
It is. It's a mismatch for the Tampa Bay Lightning to play that team. The styles are different.
Look at 1994 or 93 when the Wings exited in the second round to the Sharks. Okay, no one predicted that.
Say that again?
Wait, Shahab wants you to repeat
No,
that.
it was the Sharks' first year in the league. They made it to the playoffs and they beat the Red Wings in I think it was 6 games
Yeah.
in the first round. I mean, it was crazy. Nobody would have predicted that, but that's why you play the games.
That's right.
You know, so
Well, the Islanders are tough. And
Yeah.
they have been a problem for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, all right. Anything else that you got for us, Shahab? You got a couple other questions? Pierre McGuire.
Okay, so Pierre, I'm glad you brought up Pierre McGuire. So everyone saw that puck, that errant puck that came into the announcer's
Right,
cubicle.
Yeah, he's
Right, and
in
it
between
missed
the
his
glass.
head by about 2
By the
inches.
glass.
So, I'm sorry, I think if players need to be wearing a helmet on the bench, I know they're playing the game, I think that the announcer sitting in that area should be wearing a helmet as well.
Oh my God, it should be like behind a cage.
Yeah, well,
I was
at the
calling
very
that
least a
game down
helmet.
there. No way.
At the very least a helmet. I mean, it's risky, and he was even looking at the ice, I don't know what he was looking at, he missed the puck. But, listen, he's got a job to do, he has to be focused on his job, it doesn't always mean following the puck at all times. I could've killed him.
Oh, easy.
If it hit him in the side of the head, he gets an
Done.
epidural hematoma, you know, that's it, he's done.
An epidural hematoma is when you tear an artery.
The middle, usually it's the middle meningeal artery in the brain, and you have something that's called the lucid interval. So basically, if somebody gets knocked out, they come right to, they seem like they're okay, and they rapidly decompensate because the brain, the blood vessel is shredded inside the skull, and the blood has nowhere to go except for to squish on the brain itself, increase the pressure, and the patient dies. And they rapidly decompensate. So that's something to be very careful about, but a hit like that would have potentially killed him.
Yeah, that's not small.
That puck was flying,
potatoes.
flying at him.
That's right.
You know, so, they should be wearing helmets. And it shouldn't take a fluke injury or fluke death for the NHL to say, oh, we better make changes. That should be enough to make a change.
Well, and you just said it here, so now it's out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody will do something about it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that is a neurosurgical emergency.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Shahab, anything else?
Minor league fight and dance. Okay, Jay, so our Dr. Hockey podcast posted, it was from Russia, I think it was. Wasn't it from Russia?
It's
It
like
looked like it sounded like it was Russian.
It's like a minor league game.
What was it?
Like a minor league game.
Was it a minor league game?
Yeah.
A minor
Where-
league
Where
game.
two guys squared off, about to fight, and they started dancing. Very reminiscent of like a Slapshot-esque type of a
That's
thing
very
at a
fun.
game, yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very fun.
I retweeted on my,
I didn't see that. I need to check that out.
yeah,
I don't know how I missed that.
it's on our Instagram,
It's on the Instagram?
the Dr. Hockey podcast. That's where I got it from.
Was I in the OR? I probably was operating. Yesterday I was in the OR all day.
Oh, so you make it sound like you're working, but I'm not working?
No, I'm sure you were working. I just was working from 7 to 7, operating on a face and a nose that were challenging, let's put it that way. I had to do a facelift on a guy who has no hair, he's bald. So I had to, how do you hide the incisions on a facelift if the guy has no hair?
Is that a riddle, or are you asking me?
It's a rhetorical question,
Oh,
I guess, 'cause
okay,
I'm
yeah.
sure you don't know the answer to that one, so.
Oh gee, but you'd
Are
be
you
a
a
horrible
facelifter?
attending.
I'm just saying, you know, are you?
You'd
all
be
right,
a horrible
all right,
attending.
Give me 6 ways to do a facelift on a guy with no hair.
Exactly, see, this is.
Go ahead,
This is
Jason.
what, okay, I'll tell you what,
How are you gonna do that?
okay, I'll tell you what, if you can tell me what, the EEG finding is for absence seizures.
Oh, that's simple. I mean, come on. Don't you have anything harder for me?
We're gonna pimp each other on our own specialties
That's
until
right.
nobody knows anything.
I'm already done. It's over.
Yeah, me too.
The EEG, I couldn't even tell you what the EEG findings are for like normal brain activity, so never mind like absence seizures.
I don't know why I went to my general neurology background to pimp you on that.
I don't know.
I should have gone to
I just
spine.
all of a sudden was like, I should go back to medical school. I'm a surgeon, I'm thinking, oh, come on, give me a break. We do have, 2 silicone gel implants here. Just-
Yes, we do.
I think they're out here just to help Gritty with,
Or the table got a breast job.
I don't know, that's just, I hate Gritty. I don't know why.
Why don't
this
you,
even
why don't
has
you
to be-
gritty the implants and see
Who
how?
brought Gritty into our realm here? Is that you, Lauren? Lauren brought Gritty. What, can you tell me why you felt, like, you could have ordered any mascot to the Dr. Hockey, sort of prop situation here, but you brought in Gritty. And you know that it gives Jason nightmares, and I can't stand the guy. Why Gritty?
I think I'm alone in this room, but I love Gritty. My fantasy team is named after him. We're 4-16 or something like that, but we are the Nitty Gritties. I think he's a top tier mascot, and I think he's changed the game, and I think he's a pop culture phenomenon. Tony Kornheiser dressed up as Gritty for Halloween.
Awful.
I'm a big Gritty fan, and I'm also a fan of triggering Jason.
Well, you know, Lauren, that Gritty is single, as are you, so it's possible.
We're
could
both
have-
redheads.
I said you could have really crazy redheaded children, crazy hair.
He's probably my type.
Oh, man, that's awful. I'm just terrorized by Gritty. I can't stand him. It gives me, hockey mascot, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think next week, so I think this podcast will probably preempt Pluto Shinzawa's comments about the Boston Bruins right before the trade deadline. So that'll be up over the weekend. And then next week, I think we're back here on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on whether or not we're getting our guest who is supposed to be in. But we've had a lot of great stuff coming up. As we get to the trade deadline, we're approaching playoffs. So please stay tuned. If you have any, again, make sure you follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Dr. Hockey Pod. It's youtube.com/Dr. Hockey Podcast. Our Instagram is @DrHockeyPodcast. We are usually doing these live when we do them on Tuesday nights, but tonight's a Wednesday for whatever reason.
So I also want to say happy birthday to my little Maya. She turns 2 tomorrow.
No way.
So yeah,
2?
yeah.
Man, this is like going by very, very, very fast.
No, that's life. It's yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's like
And-
it's very scary.
And my older one, who's just turned 6, was born the day that the lockout ended. So I was with my wife while she was in labor, watching the Red Wing game on my phone. I'm comforting her, and I'm like, yes! And she's like, what? I go, oh, the Wings just scored. She goes, would you pay attention? So it was a combination of delivery and hockey, so.
I think you're, and get a pizza and you've got the trifecta there. You know?
Yeah, just tell me when the kid comes out, I'll be good to go.
Yep, there you go.
Come
So
get me.
anyway, this is Dr. Jason Berkeley, Dr. Jay Calvert signing off for the Dr. Hockey Podcast. We're here every week with your prescription for the NHL.
Cut that out, Sean.
Sean, will you cut that, please?